Hi, my name is Carolyn. I am a creative entrepreneur and retired comedian who loves to talk about the startup and tech world. Okay guys, today I have a question for you. What happened to Clubhouse? Today I want to talk about Clubhouse, the audio-only social media app that exploded this past winter, ignited massive competition between the biggest tech companies in the world, and really showed how these tech monopolies can crush innovation. Want to find out more? Let's get started. We're gonna have some fun today. What? Here's what you need to know. To the moon! To the moon! Clubhouse is an audio-only social media app that was started in March of 2020. I usually like to describe it as an app that basically lets users join and participate in live podcasts. To use the app, you initially select all of the interests of things that you like to talk about or listen to. You get to add a bunch of your friends who are already on the platform and potentially invite a handful more who you think would also enjoy it. And then you can join whatever room that you want and listen in to what people are talking about. However, the tech when it comes to Clubhouse wasn't the coolest part. Being able to have a phone conference with people has been around for quite some time now, whether it's a Zoom call or on the phone or something like that. However, the coolest part about Clubhouse was not how the app worked. The coolest part about Clubhouse was who was on the app. The app was designed to be invite only and was highly curated from the very start, basically starting with venture capital head honchos, Hollywood celebrities, and a whole bunch of different powerful people from tech, marketing, and other Fortune 500 companies. Basically, it was the type of thing where you could sign up, go online, join a room where, say, Bill Gates was talking, and then be able to raise your hand and ask a question and talk to Bill Gates directly. I mean, that's just one example, and it's a little bit of extreme. I'm not sure how many random people Bill Gates spoke to, but you know, that type of stuff was the type of stuff that was really happening. People were able to connect with some of the most powerful people in the world, which was really cool. The conversations can't be recorded, which created quite a bit of FOMO, which helped to drive users to the app. But yeah, overall, hopping onto Clubhouse really felt like sneaking into like some of the best TED Talks in the world and then being asked to go on stage and talk to the people there. It was really fun. Okay, so let's learn a little bit more about the company. Clubhouse was founded in March of 2020 by Paul Davison and Rohan Seth. Both of the founders were Stanford guys and really experienced entrepreneurs. Paul Davison most recently worked at CoinList and sold a startup of his to Pinterest and previously worked at Google. Rohan Seth worked at Google for a while and had a startup that was acquired by Opendoor just a few years ago and actually also runs a startup accelerator that's designed to help do research for kids who have various genetic diseases. Overall, both of these guys seem really impressive. They worked at some really incredible companies and have already had pretty successful exits, even if those companies were a little bit smaller than, say, Clubhouse. Clubhouse had a buzzy start from the very beginning. People were really excited about the app in general, but it did take a while for it to build up due to its invite-only architecture. They purposefully tried to keep the number of users down while they worked on the app in beta. By May of 2020, Clubhouse was valued at $100 million after successfully raising $12 million from Andreessen Horowitz, even though the app didn't even have a public-facing website yet. For the first several months, the app was pretty exclusive, basically only onboarding Hollywood celebrities and venture capitalists and other big tech founders. Think Gary Vaynerchuk, who of course was all over this. The app grew pretty quickly, reaching 600,000 users by December of 2020, but January was when it really exploded. Clubhouse hit 2 million weekly active users and had 9.6 million people download the app on their phones by February of 2021. Massive celebrities, industry leaders, and every wannabe you know flocked to the app. It didn't really pop until one night when Elon Musk and Robinhood CEO decided to go onto Clubhouse to talk about how GameStop had just crashed just that afternoon. It was nuts, to say the least. Did I mention that at the time this was an iOS-only app, meaning anybody who didn't have an Apple phone couldn't participate, period? And that they hit almost 10 million downloads less than a year after they launched? It was big. And that's when the giants took notice. Twitter swooped in and almost acquired them for $4 billion. But after that fell apart, the copycatting began. Facebook, Spotify, Discord, LinkedIn, and Twitter all started creating their own copycatted versions of Clubhouse onto their massive platforms. If you're wondering how that's legal, it's because in the tech space, you can't copy someone's code, but you can, recreate the same thing with different code. Yeah, we may need to do something about that. Twitter launched their version of Clubhouse called Twitter Spaces back in May. This basically allowed Twitter users with at least 600 followers to create their own rooms and invite people to join in. Guys, thank God Trump is gone. Can you imagine what would have happened if Trump was around for Twitter Spaces? Holy cow. Fingers crossed that he stays gone forever. For all of our sanities, seriously. Spotify recently launched their version of Clubhouse, Spotify Greenroom, onto the platform just a few weeks ago. And Facebook is now testing out their version of the app, which is called Live Audio Rooms, which is easily the worst name of all of these apps. Like the podcast and streaming world, the race is on for the best creators. Everybody wants the top creators, the most creators, or creators who best resonate with their brand on their platform to attract as many users as possible. And the best part for creators is these platforms are doing everything they can to provide as many financial incentives as possible. Twitter Spaces is having their creators sell tickets for their events. Clubhouse partnered with Stripe to build a new donation system. And Spotify just launched their brand new creator fund. But what's most intriguing about these different expansions and the different tools is Spotify actually has given users the ability to record their live audio sessions so that they can re-release them as podcasts at a later date, which is great because it means that these creators are going to be able to continue to make money on that same event over time instead of in just the moment right then and there. It was a wild winter and spring for Clubhouse, but what's happening now? So now Clubhouse has a bit of an interesting conundrum. They have a ton of cash, but they're losing users, and they've got some of the biggest players in the game trying to compete with them to get those same users. They currently have a $4 billion valuation, which is triple of what it was back in January. Their customer-facing website is finally up, and they have a pretty popping career website if anybody's looking for anything. However, people don't seem to be engaged anymore. Clubhouse is really starting to feel like a fad that left just as quickly as it came, and its monster competitors aren't doing anything to help. Additionally, as its user base skyrocketed, so did their content moderation problems. Since the app is designed to be completely live and none of it is being recorded, a lot of users have been taking advantage of that and talking about every racist, anti-Semitic, homophobic, sexist thing you can think of, in addition to abusing specific creators on the platform. Although this is a pretty big problem for a lot of social media platforms, it was particularly bad on Clubhouse for two main reasons. First, the obvious, everything is live and not recorded, which makes it really difficult for users to have evidence that they can show to Clubhouse to show who is, abusing them or spewing out racist crap. And then the second reason is because they were growing so fast with such a small team. I mean, I don't even know how large the company was. It didn't even have a website. Like, how many people were actually moderating this? It does sound like they've gotten a little bit of a better hold of this, but they're also losing users really quickly. As of April of 2021, Clubhouse only had 900,000 new downloads compared to their 9.6 million new downloads back in February. And from my own experience using the app, it really feels like a lot of people just aren't engaging with it as much or at all anymore. By May, Clubhouse finally launched their Android version of the app, so it's not just Apple users anymore. And just a few short weeks ago, they got rid of their invite-only method of joining the app, so anybody can sign up, but, you know, I'm kind of wondering, is it too little too late? All right, we're done with fun facts. This is what I think. In the long term, I think this audio social media industry is going to continue to grow over time. There are so many big players in the game, and a lot of people really seem to love it. As somebody who's been watching social media and the creator economy for over a decade, it really feels like there's never been a better time to be a creator, and I think Clubhouse is going to continue to be a part of that. However, I don't think that Clubhouse or the audio social media industry in general is going to grow nearly as fast as it did this past winter for a long time to come. Clubhouse really seems to be the result of yet another situation of, oh gosh, there's a global pandemic and we're all trapped inside of our houses and we want to do something new because we're bored. People felt lonely and wanted to connect, and Clubhouse had a fairly novel piece of technology that people were excited about and felt like they could connect with some of the coolest people in the world. Instead of going to a conference or going to a concert, they could sit in their pajamas at home and, you know, have a conversation with some of their biggest idols. Like, guys, they had Oprah. Oprah was on Clubhouse.
Oprah, somebody call for help!
I mean, I was in quite a few pitch rooms where people were pitching startup ideas to investors, and investors were telling them to contact them so that they could schedule follow-up meetings and presumably, you know, get an investment in their companies. Basically, people were getting funding for their startup ideas because they were in the right place at the right time, and that place just happened to be Clubhouse. For a while, it really felt like everybody was on Clubhouse and anything was possible. But then everyone else showed up. With the sudden rise of users also came the rise of a lot of really crazy and racist people who kept popping up on the platform. It became really toxic really quickly, and it was really uncomfortable. There were all sorts of different conversations about people who were abusing the platform, abusing different creators, and it was just so frustrating to see. So now there's a few questions to address. First things first, is Clubhouse going to be able to get back to the same amount of users that it had before, or is it going to be able to figure out whatever its normal user base size is going to be like? Can Clubhouse really compete in this space? Will the space continue to grow? Or are one or more of these tech giants really going to be able to take over the entire marketplace and get everybody on their platform instead? Because now Clubhouse's competitors do have some intriguing offerings that Clubhouse doesn't have. My hope for now is that Clubhouse is going to get the Snapchat treatment, right? Everybody copies them and everybody has a version of it on their site, but they're still able to stand alone and continue to build their product and continue to grow over time and get to the point where they're finally able to compete in, like, you know, the creator wars and stuff like that. However, unlike Snapchat, it really feels like Clubhouse's rise and collapse was a lot sharper than Snapchat's was. Okay, so final thoughts. I think there are two things that Clubhouse can do to really make themselves stand out and to just grow in general. First things first, I think they need to solve this online abuse and racism problem that they have on the platform. It was pretty uniquely bad, and it's far more hurtful, I think, to hear something out loud than it is to read something online where you can just kind of dismiss it. But if they don't solve that platform, I don't see them going anywhere. The reason why is because all of these larger platforms are going to have larger, more sophisticated teams who are going to be able to tackle that a little bit more aggressively than Clubhouse is. So if they can't figure that out, I don't see a really strong future for them. The second thing that I think Clubhouse needs to do if they're going to continue to be successful is join the creator wars. if they can continue to fight to either get people who already use the app, like the big names, you know, Oprah, Mark Zuckerberg, not that we want him, but he's a name, Bill Gates or Elon Musk to use the platform more frequently, that's going to get them more users. But it doesn't have to be just big names like that. Anybody who is an influencer or an online creator could be a really good fit for that. Continuing to build things for creators specifically, like their donations setup that they've built with Stripe, or even maybe developing their own creator fund could be a great way for them to continue to grow. So for now, here's where I stand. Although I really enjoyed Clubhouse during the pandemic, I don't really see it as being a part of my life that much post-pandemic, though I would totally be down for going to events every once in a while. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see where Clubhouse goes from here, but I think my bigger concern is how many more startups are going to be eaten alive by some of these tech giants. It just doesn't really seem fair when billion and trillion dollar companies really just gobble up little startups before they've even had a chance to really grow and get to know their own user base. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed the show. Sorry if it got a little dark at the end. Didn't really mean to, but it is a really serious conversation and I would love to know what you think. Do you think Clubhouse is going to be able to rise again and become a big superstar? Do you think that audio social media in general is dead and everybody else needs to get with the program? Do you think that these creator economy wars are gonna get even better? Or are they gonna continue to just be all over the place? I would love to know your thoughts, and also any funny stories that you have from conversations that you heard on Clubhouse. Would love to check it out. And yeah, I post videos every Tuesday and Thursday just talking about tech, startups, and whatnot. So if you want to watch more, please considering liking and subscribing. I am a brand new YouTuber and I could really use all of the love that you have to share with me. So thank you so much. Bye. Buddy's here.